we still discuss translation studies. And in this episode, let's discuss procedures of translation. Procedures of translations that I would like to share with you are based on Finney and Dalbernay in their article entitled A Methodology for Translations. It is compiled in Penalty's book in 2000. Finney and Dalbernay state that there are 7 procedures in the process of translation. So of course it is good to give you this video because it is like a continuation from the previous discussions about process of translation. And remember, procedures of translation here are not about the steps in translating, but how the translation result, okay, the result of translation. Alright, if you are doing an analysis on translation studies, you may focus the discussion on procedures of translation, and you can use the theory from Finney and Dalbernay. I believe that you, of course, know the other terms for procedures of translations proposed by many other linguists, but in this episode, my focus is on procedures of translation proposed by Finney and Dalbernay. There are 7 procedures of translations that I would like to explain in this video. The first one is borrowing, second one calque, third one literal translation, number 4 transposition, number 5 is modulation, and number 6 equivalence, and the last one is adaptation. Let's start from number 1, borrowing. Borrowing is considered as the simplest of all the translation methods or procedures. In translating a term from the source language to the target language, certain foreign terms may be used. For example, computer in English is translated into computer, and television in Indonesian is translated into televisi. Borrowing can be pure or modified, but in terms of procedures of translations by Finney and Dalbernay, borrowing is only one, and I have given you the example to interpret the meaning of borrowing by Finney and Dalbernay for their procedures of translation. And number 2 is calque. Okay, it is spelled C-A-L-Q-U-E. Calque is a special kind of borrowing whereby a language borrows an expression from another and then is translated literally in terms of each of its elements. Calque is categorized into 2 types, namely lexical calque. With example, honeymoon is translated into bulan madu. So honey is translated into madu, and moon is translated into bulan. So each component in honeymoon is directly transferred. Alright, and structural calque, for example, Bali post is translated into the same structure in Indonesian, so it becomes Bali post. So lexical calque happens at the level of lexical choices, while structural calque happens at the levels of constructions of language, the structure. Okay, and moving now to literal translation. Literal translation is word-for-word translation. It is a direct transfer of a source language text grammatically and idiomatically appropriate in the target language text. In this case, the translator task is to stick firmly to the linguistic servitudes of the target language. For example, the literal translations of data source like sebuah rumah pantai di Venus Bay is translated into a beach house at Venus Bay. And engkau menunggu aku di Sanur is translated, you waiting for me at Sanur. Okay, number 4, the procedures of translations. Number 4 is transposition. Transposition is a translating process which involves replacing one word class with another without changing the meaning of the message. The transposition can also be applied within a single language. There are 2 types of transposition, namely obligatory transposition and optional transposition. A procedure of translation is called obligatory transposition when the target language has no other choices because of other language system. And the example for this type is the phrase consolidated financial statement in English. Okay, this is from the terms in economics, and it is translated laporan keuangan konsolidasi. Okay, and the second type of transposition is optional transposition. It is chosen by the translator to carry out the meaning if it fits better into the utterance for the sake of the style. Remember, it is done for the sake of the style. For example, okay, there's a statement in Indonesian like wajahku akan menjadi sepotong mainan, and it is translated into dolls will face like mine. Number 5, modulation. Modulation is the translating process in which there is a variation of form of the message. The variation is obtained by a change in the point of view. Okay, and equivalence. Equivalence means translating process which is applied when there are 2 texts with the same context of situation, but those texts are using completely different stylistic and structural methods. Okay, for example, kadoodle-doo in English is translated into kukuruyu, so it equals in the target language. That is kind of expression naturally used in the target language. And the last one is adaptation. Adaptation is the translating process, okay, which is adopted if there is a situation being referred to by the source language message but unknown in the target language culture. In this case, a translator should create a new situation that can be considered equivalent. For example, in the letter dear sir, in Indonesian we have dengan hormat. Yeah. Those are 7 procedures of translations that I have explained based on Finney and Dalberg. Of course, like I have said, there are many other procedures of translation proposed by different linguists. I hope I can also discuss and summarize other types of procedures of translation and methods of translation in the next video. I hope you enjoy your day and happy learning. Enjoy also learning the study of linguistics and literature on my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Bye-bye.